Alright, time for a quick summary of Bill Bryson's A Short History of Nearly Everything, which is literally 500 pages long. About 600 pages long and like about 10 or so minutes. Yeah, that should be hard. Ish. We just have to spend 20 seconds on each chapter. Let's just get this started with right now. So, basically, this is what this book is about. A short history of nearly everything. It's not a short history of everything because that would be too long, and you would basically combine all the books of knowledge in the world into one gigantic book, which would be like a... I don't know, how many books are there? 500-page books. That would be like 1,000,000 or so pages or something, and I have that much money in somewhere. I don't have that much money. And basically, this book is about Bill Bryson, who remembers his old science days, and he is very curious about the world around him. So this is his quest into actually finding everything that seems to happen around him and trying to make science more fun than it was taught at school. It also turns out the way science was, the material that science was taught during his lifetime when he was in high school was outdated now. So he had to relearn everything. Nice. Except for him, I guess. At least we get to tell the adults, actually, that's not correct. It's correct. You serious? I've been in school longer than you, and your school's been curriculum has been outdated. I hate you. Yeah, boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. Yeah, basically that seems to be happening everywhere right now, and all I want to say right now is that is awesome. And now let's actually start from the Big Bang. Let's start with part 1, Lost in the Cosmos. Chapter 1, How to Build a Universe. In this chapter, it's basically telling us how the universe was created, how Bill Bryson found out about it, and the Big Bang itself, the hydrogen molecules, the lightest element ever banging up, and then the singularity that doesn't seem to have existed before that. It just like seemed to appear in that instant. Boom! Well, there are some cartoons that I've watched, science fiction cartoons that I've watched about the existence of the Big Bang, like Cosmos, but my personal favorite is from one of the popular cartoon called Ben 10, where they literally had to save the Big Bang from an evil Big Bang. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. In the cartoon, basically, the Big Bang was created by aliens from the future. But however, in real life, we have no idea what happened. Because time sort of exists before that. So actually, what's probably going to happen is that the Big Bang is just happened there. Let's just say that Big Bang just happened there. Just less than a second, less than even 0 seconds. It was there for 0 seconds, and it suddenly appeared, and then it was less than between 0 to 0.99999, 0.1111, an infinite 1 seconds, and it just suddenly appeared and exploded in that same moment. That is just a lot. So let's just fast forward time here because we're actually kind of bored and we don't want to see the formation of all that stuff, the quarks, biases, and we just want to see it fast forwardly. We basically see electrons and we see atoms created, and the atoms are basically here. Now, chapter 2, welcome to the solar system. We fast forward so many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of years. Eventually we skip to billions right now, and then we actually go to the solar system. In the solar system, this is basically what happens. Basically, the sun first forms, then it could the Mercury, Venus, Earth, but it was uninhabitable. Mars, and then the asteroid belt from the leftovers: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Kuiper Belt, Pluto, and all the other dwarf planets. I don't know any of the other dwarf planets. And that seems to happen, and then afterwards, more and more weird things happen too. Turns out, Mars could be habitable if we terraform it enough. Venus, too hot, and acid clouds, that is not ideal for farming, and human skin. And Mercury, just too hot, basically the side that's it's too cold, like it's winter, like super winter, like all year long. The other side that's going to the moon and to the sun is basically super hot, basically super summer all year long. And I guess the only place where it's okay is like that place in between those two places, so I guess that's the only place that's okay. And then here comes the Earth. For the Earth, it was uninhabitable. It was basically volcanoes and magma and stuff. But then suddenly clouds formed because of that, well, steam and stuff. And they started raining. They started raining stuff. And then they finally cooled the ground. Yay! Now bad news. There's more clouds. There's a thunderstorm. Oh no! But then again, no life exists. So oh yay! It's gonna create life. So it rains everything, cools everything down, creates those volcanoes and all that. And yeah, we're already at 5 minutes, and we've only done 2 chapters. Wow. Fast forwarding, now let's talk about supernovae in chapter 3, the Reverend Evan universe. There's a guy named Reverend Evan who decides to study the skies. What he does is studying for different things. He sees speculations for supernovae. In fact, he once saw 15 or so supernovae in 3 days, but then saw none for the next 3 years or something like that. It's basically like this. Put a lot of salt on 3 tables. Now let Reverend Evan walk over it. He'll study it and then put 1 speck of salt onto one of the tables without changing anything else. He will spot that speck immediately. Basically, this guy has a mental map and that doesn't match. Like that. Yay. And now imagine doing that, but multiply that by 100. No, 20. No, 40. Yeah, 40. That seems ideal. That would be overkill. But he somehow finds all of them. Alright. Part 2, the size of the Earth. Chapter 4, the measure of things. This is basically talking about units and measurements and stuff. Basically, we're going to have to say stuff a lot here because I don't have enough time to say everything here. Yeah, I'm sorry guys for those people who hate stuff. But here's basically what happens. There's this guy who invented a new science, and this guy creates geology, and then he decides to find lots. He needs units, so he does the units, and then he uses grams and the gravity and all that. This is gonna take 30 minutes, I'm pretty sure. And yeah. Chapter 5, the Stonebreakers. Fossils, basically, we find out about fossils and all that. And Chapter 6, Science Red in Tooth and Claw, basically dinosaurs. Chapter 7, Elemental Matters. We're talking about elements. I'll just speed this up because we're so close to 10 minutes right now, and I'm pretty sure this will last 15 to 20 minutes, which is not good for my memory storage on this phone. And now, part 3, a new age dawns. Basically, we're now going to relativity. You know Einstein, right? The big crazy hair guy, but with a big brain. Oh, maybe not a big brain, he had a small brain, but with big neurons and stuff. And he had a big knowledge, and he had good knowledge, even though his teacher said, you'll never amount to anything, because he didn't follow the rules. Because the rules sucked. Yeah, they'd sue. I mean, that doesn't mean rules shouldn't exist. He's the guy who found rules, relativity rules, and he could have found them earlier, but they got trashed and sabotaged by Germany. No, his own home country sabotaged his experiment because he was Jewish. Oh no, Nazis! Boom, 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 boom. He helped the Allies win World War II, but accidentally released a new super weapon into the world, the atomic bomb. Then he accidentally helped people upgrade it to the hydrogen bomb. He didn't do that directly. He just created the atom bomb, and people upgraded to the hydrogen bomb, which is overkill. That is not a good sign. And that is just overkill. I'll have to mention that is just overkill. So there's that. That's that. I'm very silent right now. And now, let's basically talk about relativity and actual misconceptions and stereotypes about relativity too. Einstein may be crazy-haired, but he's definitely not crazy-brained. Number 9, the mighty asset. We talk about atoms, how they were found, and how Einstein helped find out about it, and lots of other things too. And number 10, getting the lead out. Or lead, should I say. This is just about lead and stuff. That's nice. Muster marks quarks, as the chapter 11, Muster marks quarks, as the chapter implies. It talks about Muster mark and quarks, and how he found it. Pretty much that's it. Chapter 12, the Earth moves. It talks about the misconception that the Earth isn't the thing that moves, but everything else moves. And we're in the center because if God exists, then if we know God, then God must love us. Yes, let's go. God rules. God's rules. Let's make a band. Yeah, we're the center of the universe. We're the center of the universe. Yeah, basically that's supposed to happen, and that seems to be going on for such and such a long time. It also talks about the continental drift too. They knew that it spun, but they didn't know that the Earth itself moved. Continental drift, those little pieces, or Yeah, like that. They didn't know that happened. And now for Dangerous Planet. Part 4. Dangerous Planet. We're talking about bangs and meteorites here in chapter 14. In chapter 15, 14, actually that was 13. Chapter 13, bang, where it's about meteorites. Chapter 14, the fire below. It's about volcanoes and all that. And we are very weirded out by volcanoes. Like, volcanoes! Oh no! And on chapter 15, Dangerous Beauty, Yellowstone volcano. That's pretty awesome too. It's a dangerous beauty because of the Yellowstone stuff. Yellowstone volcano, how nice. Not. And part 5, life itself, chapter 16, Lonely Planet. It talks about the Earth and how we're here and why there are no aliens in the world. Just kidding, they didn't talk about aliens, but they did talk about the Earth though. Chapter 17, Into the Troposphere. It talks about our atmosphere and what we would do without it. And, we have to sink it a lot. Chapter 18, The Bounding Main. We're talking about the ocean, the unknown ocean, and that we know space more than the ocean, even though space is bigger, and we don't even know our own oceans. That is just ridiculous, and that is just very embarrassing if we look at other aliens. If they exist. The rise of life. We're talking about life origins and how life originated. The first life forms appear. And we talk about how chimps come in. I'm just kidding. They don't come in yet. Alright. Chapter 20. Small world. We talk about microbes, viruses, bacteria, fungi, and all that stuff. And how they harm us and stuff. And why they exist. And how they exist here in the first place. Number 21. Life goes on. We talk about fossils again. I feel like I did that already. Yeah, why not? Because life goes on and that we should be here because we should be thankful for our life. Number 22, chapter 22, goodbye to all that. We talk about life continues, that life is still here because it is trend and that it still continues and that we're in the best possible place to live. Let's go! Chapter 20C, the richness of being. It's being, the richness of being. It talks about, the goodness of being alive and of being here and of the existence of actually here and being existent too. Chapter 24, cells. It talks about cells. Like multicellular organisms, single-cell organisms, mitochondria, nucleus, RNA, DNA, all of that. And then in chapter 25, Darwin's singular notion. This one's a big brain teaser. It's all about Darwin and evolution. And people are like, apes? Descend from apes? Let's hope that's not true, dear. And if it is, let's hope that it's not become common knowledge. It's true, and it became common knowledge. So I guess the woman who said that would probably hate it. I'm like, I mean, even you have to admit, we do look a bit like monkeys. I mean, you do have to admit, these guys do look a bit like us. I mean, the orangutan. I can probably do that. Also, probably not as strong. This looks like fat dads. This could probably happen if apes became smart enough. But Dawn of the Planet Apes doesn't really exist, so yeah. And this comparison. Ladies, look away. This is basically what seems to be happening, and it does look very similar, don't you think? Even Britannica agrees. Everyone agrees. Wikipedia agrees. Intofilm agrees. The humans agree. The Guardian agrees. The New Scientist agrees. Scientific American agrees. Center for Great Apes agrees. Center for Great Apes? But yeah, that's just plain weird. Finally, chapter 26. Usually I don't even record these long videos unless it's a special occasion. The stuff of life. We talk about genes and other things too. And we talk about genes and reproduction, how people seem to be going on. And now for the final part. Part 6. The Road to Us. Chapter 26. We talk about ice time. Basically, the Ice Age. Where basically... Oh my gosh, you're not gonna come. Alright, never mind. I was gonna grab my cat, but he just ran away to immediately time I just tried to grab him. Anyways, that seemed to happen. And then in chapter, it talked about the Ice Age and how it seems to happen and how we seem to work out in this Ice Age too. Now for the mysterious biped. Alright, so I just googled up apes and human hybrids, and this is what I get. What? Yeah, this is the mysterious biped, and it's been 20 minutes since 35 minutes since I started 30 minutes since I started recording, and we've only had 15-minute footage. Alright. So that's the mysterious biped. The homos. We have to listen to the homos. And if we Google up Lucy, yeah, Lucy, we get this woman. And she's pretty famous because she's the famous ancestor of all humans. Basically, this is our common ancestor, maybe. I mean, we do have a common ancestor, but this is probably it. And Lucy does not look like a man, but she does look like this, more likely. And now let's talk about the restless ape. It's also about Lucy and lots of ape ancestors too. And now, goodbye. It's a bye. It talks about bye and extinct species and how things should go ahead and throughout the future. Basically, it's saying that we should be here for each other and that there's still so much we don't know yet. This is just beginning. And if we go and somehow find aliens, we might actually do a good thing. But also it talks about Newton's Principia and like arguments about what happened first, even though we don't really know which one happened first. So I guess that is the end of today's episode. I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode because I hope to see you guys in my next episode too. So, until then, schnaut out. Take care. Peace. Read a book. Learn science. Highly recommend Kurtzgesocht, the YouTube channel. And I hope to see you guys in my next episode. So until then, schnaut out. Peace.